What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Final Frontier. My name is Space, and today, as promised, we're going to be bringing you the first of our two guides today. It is going to be the Engineering Sniper PvP guide. So here we go, let's get into it. It's going to be 3 parts as usual. First off, we're going to go over the spec and utilities. Second off, we're going to go over gearing and optimal stat priorities. And thirdly, we are going to go over our rotation and priority system. So let's hop into it. Alright, so going through the spec, level 10 explosive probe puts an explosive probe in the target that detonates when the target takes damage, dealing 8,429 to 8,634 kinetic damage to the target. Standard and weak targets are additionally knocked down and set on fire, dealing 1,035 additional energy damage over 3 seconds. Level 12, Engineer's Tool Belt. Increases the critical hit chance of Fragmentation Grenade by 10%, and when Fragmentation Grenade deals damage to its primary target, it restores 5 energy. Cool. Level 16, Cluster Bombs. After Explosive Probe detonates, it drops 2 cluster bombs on the target. A cluster bomb explodes when damaged by blaster fire, dealing 1474 kinetic damage to the target. Cluster bombs cannot be detonated more than once every half second. Level 20, Imperial Methodology. Increases the number of cluster bombs dropped by explosive probe by 2. In addition, when the cluster bombs detonate, you recover 5 energy. Explosive Engineering, level 24. Increases the damage dealt by explosive probe, cluster bombs, fragmentation grenade, plasma probe, and orbital strike by 15%. Level 26, Interrogation Probe. Summons an interrogation probe that clings to the target and deals 10,910 energy damage over 18 seconds. Only one interrogation probe can be active at a time. Inventive interrogation techniques. Interrogation probe reduces the target's movement speed by 30% for the duration. Experimental explosives. Increases the critical damage dealt by explosive probe, interrogation probe, EMP discharge, and all area of effects by 30%. Imperial Autoloader. Reduces the cooldown of series of shots by 6 seconds, reduces the energy cost of series of shot by 1 per second, and reduces the energy cost of snipe by 5. Cool. Electrified Railgun. When series of shots deals damage, it electrifies the target, dealing 545 elemental damage over 6 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. So a full channel of your series of shots will deal an additional 1,500 damage over 6 seconds. Cool. Electrified Blast. Snipe and Fragmentation Grenade apply 1 stack of Electrified Railgun's effect to the primary target. So that right there, every time you hit a snipe, it'll add an additional 545 elemental damage, which can crit. Same with your Fragmentation Grenade. Efficient Engineering. Reduces the energy cost of Explosive Probe, Interrogation Probe, and Plasma Probe by 5. Cool. Sector Ranger. Reduces the activation time of Orbital Strike by 1 second and its cooldown by 15 seconds. In addition, Plasma Probe overwhelms the targets it damages for 45 seconds. Overwhelmed targets take 10% more damage from area attacks. Scatter Bombs. Reduces the energy cost of Fragmentation Grenade by 5. In addition, when rolling with covered escape, you drop 5 Scatter Bombs in a trail behind you. These bombs explode soon after, dealing 593 to 771 kinetic damage and immobilizing any nearby targets for 3 seconds. So really helpful when you're trying to get out of there and you need like a melee to stop trying to follow you. It'll grant you a 3-second immobilize, so that's nice. Level 58, EMP Discharge. Deals 6,102 damage to 6,281 damage to an enemy affected by your interrogation probe and stuns the enemy for 2 seconds if it is also affected by your plasma probe. Nice. Energy Overrides. After activating EMP Discharge, the next Fragmentation Grenade costs no energy. Level 64, Field Command. Increases the critical chance of your area effects by 15%. Nice. So, guys, key things to note in the spec that we just went over there. Experimental Explosives. This increases the damage of all of your stuff by 30%. Big deal. Makes just a big overall damage increase for engineering. Another key point of the spec when you guys are trying to consider what abilities I should be using in the priority system, which we'll get into later, is the Electrified Railgun. So that's an increase of elemental damage every time you use a series of shots, a snipe, or a fragmentation grenade. Okay? Alright. let's move on to the utilities here. So I'm personally running. This is what I've just been dicking around with this today a little bit. This is not set in stone in any way, guys. This is just what I've been running for a few games today, and I find that it's actually been pretty useful. So ballistic dampers. Entering cover grants 3 charges of ballistic dampers. Each charge absorbs 30% of the damage dealt by an incoming attack. Cool. This effect cannot occur more than once every 1 global cooldown, and they can only be gained every 6 seconds, so you can't just spam cover to get, increase in defense. Snapshot. I always run snapshot. There's, you know what I mean, like when exiting cover, you know what, for me, just that instant cast of a snipe, you never know. Especially in engineering, your series of shots will not trigger every single cluster bomb that is dropped by your explosive probe. So having that instant cast of a snipe that you can just throw out to get, maybe the last 6 or like 10k of damage on a target is really nice. And calculated pursuit, guys. I've been playing around with this a lot today, and it really ties in well with engineering, I think. So basically what it does is you gain 4 charges of calculated pursuit upon exiting cover. If you go back into cover, they immediately go away. So you must remain out of cover. It's only really good for chasing enemies. Basically what it does is it gives you 4 free casts of overload shot, which is this ability right here. That's what that looks like. So as you guys can see, it does use up a lot of energy. Like if you're watching my energy bar, it's using up a lot of energy right now. Also, because you're not in cover, you won't be regaining your energy as quickly. But it's, it's not, the reason why we use it is so that it syncs with our explosive probe, just like that. Oh, it evaded our fucking probe. Mint. It should be on it. It's not on it. Never mind. I'll show you guys that in 7 seconds. But as you guys saw with the cluster bombs, we drop the cluster bombs, and if a target is trying to move out of range and we can't finish our channel of our series of shots, it's incredibly useful to be in cover, drop your probe, and then go ahead and chase with your series, with your overload shots, which you get 4 free ones, which, as you guys can see, are triggering my, they're also triggering your explosive probe. So it's kind of a good way to stay mobile. So let's get back into the utilities. So that's why I'm running calculated pursuit. I'm just trying it out today, and so far it's been decent. Moving on to the masterful. Augmented shields is a must. Increases the damage absorbed by shield probe by 30%, and reestablished range also a must in any spec, in any sniper spec. Just when melee gets on you, you're gonna throw down that entrench, and you're gonna go into your series of shots, and it's gonna reset them. You're gonna knock them away an extra 4 meters if they're within 10 meters. So with optimally, you can push them back up to 14 meters away from you. So if they're right at the 10 meter mark when the last tick hits, it's going to send them an additional 4 meters away. So it's really nice to keep the pressure off of you. I'm also running Stroke of Genius in this spec only because I've been finding myself being really, really comfortable these past today and just in general on my sniper. I find that I've been playing a lot more. I feel like my level of play is at a point now where my positioning is pretty much impeccable all the time, and if it's not, then I deserve to be punished for that, right? Like I deserve to die, so that's okay. So I'm gonna run Stroke of Genius instead of an additional heroic here. Also, just for the synchronized, the instant cast, the 2 instant casts of snipe. So watch this. Ready? We can drop into cover, hit a snipe, immediately hit cover pulse, and hit a snipe. So we can get 2 more. That's big damage for us right there. Okay. And obviously the electrified. So every time we hit him with a snipe, he's gonna get the electrified railgun, which stacks up to 3 times. So let's see what it does. Yeah, there we go. So it can't stack any more than that. 695 damage per tick. So snipe is really useful in this spec as well. Moving on to the heroic, or the heroic tier. I run series of snares in this because it is the best. It amplifies your offensive ability. Series of snares. So with this spec, your interrogation probe, as you guys can see right there, movement slow of 30%. Also, your plasma probe, I don't believe it slows them, but when they're inside the plasma probe, guys, they're assailable. So they take 45% additional, or sorry, they're, let me see what it does right here. Sector Ranger, yeah, here it is. Plasma probe overwhelms the target. It damages for 45 seconds. Overwhelmed targets take 10% more damage from area attacks. So it's useful for your team, guys. It's useful for everyone. You have a few area of attacks too. Obviously, your plasma probe is an area attack. So the more you can take them, keep them in that. With the series of snares, heroic, which reduces the movement speed of the target by 20%. This stacks up to 4 times, so it's an 80% slow by the end of your channel. So that in what is the word? In addition to your series of shots, that's a massive slow. Okay, guys, like that's like these people. Your target is not going anywhere. All right. And what it does is it allows us to set up your interrogation probe EMP stun. So if the EMP detonates, if you EMP discharge while the target is affected by your plasma probe, it will stun the target for 2 seconds. So this all comes down to the utility as well of engineering, where you have so many different ways to, you know, I can drop my plasma probe over here, I can drop it over here at a door instantly. You know what I mean? And you can also just immediately double tap the hotkey and place it on a target, so that you can, say for instance, you've got like a sword healer. He's halfway through channeling a big heal like his innervate, and then you interrupt that, and he starts immediately channeling a dark heal. Well, you can throw down the plasma probe, assuming it's already on him, and drop your EMP discharge to really, you just stun him out for 2 seconds. So you can effectively have 4 interrupts. Obviously, the other one being your roll up, and you right here you debilitate. You have your flashbang for another interrupt. By that point, he'll probably be white barred. So then you have obviously your distraction, which is your actual interrupt. So engineering, you can really hamper a healer or any real target. I mean, you can CC people for hours. It's great. And ranged and on the move CCs. Like here we go. So here I'm moving, cast my explosive probe, and then there's the EMP discharge right there. And that target is now stunned. Was stunned for 2 seconds. Obviously not great on the dummy to show you guys, but the target is stunned there. So that kind of explains the talents I'm running for engineering. Me personally, these are just me. If you guys wanted a good baseline for what you guys should consider running, this is what I run. Like as a more general utilities, I run ballistic dampers, snapshot, and then I've been running pulse screen. Activating cover pulse increases your chance to resist force and tech attacks by 20% for 6 seconds. The only time you're realistically ever going to be popping cover pulse is when you're in trouble, like you're trying to get someone away from you, trying to create space. So having that increased defense makes sense. These two I run all the time. These are mandatory. Your augmented shields and reestablish range, there is nothing better. And then in the heroic tier, I almost always take a series of snares, but then I also usually take hold your ground. If I'm playing marksman, I won't take series of snares. I will take deployed shields and hold your ground. So deployed shields, guys, reduces all damage taken while in cover by 5%, because in marksman, I stay in cover a lot more. Reduces the cooldown of your ballistic shield by 30%. So that's your giant space bubble right there. 20% damage reduction for all of your allies inside the bubble, including yourself. Hold your ground reduces the cooldown of your shield probe and cover pulse by 5 seconds, and escape by 30 seconds, which is your CC breaker. Synergizes really well with your augmented shield. So if you guys wanted a baseline utility build, you're going to be running ballistic dampers, snapshot, pulse screen, augmented shields, reestablish range, deployed shields, and hold your ground. So yeah, let's get into gearing. Now, obviously, I've been away for a week. I haven't been PvPing, haven't been gearing up, so I'm still not 208 on this guy at all. But he is pretty well min-maxed. I min-max my gear always, and he's fully augmented as well. So we are running currently 7 power and 7 crit augments. Okay. We are running 4.5% alacrity, which is 3 alacrity enhancements. So one there, and I believe the other one is up here. No, it's around. Yeah, there it is. So 3 alacrity enhancements will get you to 4.5% with the game's rounding. You know what? It's like, you know what? There's no point in going up to that last 5%. Once I hit 208, these 3 enhancements themselves will get me to 5%. And the augments themselves, there is no reason to not be running 7 power and 7 crit. I feel. This is not for sure yet. This is not guaranteed. I haven't done any math. This is just the baseline stuff. What I have found to be the most effective on my marksman and on all of my specs. So on my sniper, you know, on my Sork, on my PT, this is what I'm running: 7 crit, 7 power. So this is getting me to just under 40% crit and just under, and might as well be 70% crit multiplier with a bonus damage of 1560. Keep in mind that it's mostly 204 gear. My main hand is 208, and I believe all of this stuff over here is 208 as well. And my relics and my implants and earpieces are 208 as well. So 1529 crit, 390 alacrity, 2734 power, 5,311 endurance, and 4285 mastery. Okay, that is stimmed and buffed as well. Relics, guys, you're going to be running the same relics on every DPS spec in the game. You're going to be running your Relic of Focused Retribution, which is a proc relic. When it procs, you get 882 bonus mastery. And the same thing for your Serendipitous Assault. When it procs, 30% chance to gain 882 power for 6 seconds. Both of these can only occur once every 20 seconds. Let's see if I can get a proc for you. I'll show you guys what it looks like down here. Just go ahead and snipe away. You'll see it. It looks like... oh, come on, you. Couple of rings pop up on your screen. Yeah, right there. So that's it. Blah, that is not it. That's my field text damage bonus. Sorry, that is triggered by my explosive probe, but I do believe that... Is that it? Yeah, so that's it right there. Power surge, and then the blue one. Let me see if I can find it. Come on. Show up for me. Probably on cooldown. There it is. So that's my mastery increase, and that is my power increase. Now, more often than not, they will proc together, which means I don't search for the procs. Like, I'm not constantly staring at this proc bar here, waiting to be like, oh, I'm saving my big abilities for my procs. I just consider them a nice damage boost when you get them to whatever ability you're casting or wherever you are in the rotation. It realistically doesn't matter. That's what I'm running. That's what I think the majority of people are running. I don't even know if there are on-use relics that you could get. I mean, I could see if you're playing Marksman that an on-use relic might come in handy. You could keybind it, and then when you're going to go drop your ambush, you would pop, you know, your target acquired, laze target, pop your relic, both your relics, and then smash them with an ambush and a follow through. So yeah, it's situational, whatever you guys feel like running, but I am running Focused Retribution and Serendipitous Assault on every single one of my specs, and I believe that 99% of other PvPers you out there are also running the same thing. Alright, so that pretty much does it for gearing. Let's talk about set bonus. Very important. Sorry, real quick. You guys are going to be going for the Field Tech set bonus. 2 pieces will get you activating Explosive Probe, Ambush, or Lethal Shot. Will increases the damage dealt by 2% for 15 seconds. Cannot occur more than once every 30 seconds. So that's just a nice overall damage buff every 30 seconds. 4 pieces is going to reduce the cooldown of target acquired. And activating that ability will restore 15 energy. So target acquired right here will restore 15 energy. 6 piece, which is the most important. Your laze target has 2 charges, which means that when I pop it right here and I toss out my explosive probe, well, that's a guaranteed crit. Sorry, that's over there. So we still have a charge left, 30 seconds. So if I target this one over here, and in 5 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and drop my second explosive probe, it will also be an instant crit. Not the entire thing, but the initial right there. 15k, 17k on the initial crit. Not bad. And then you also obviously get this massive so yeah, let's get into the rotation of the priority system, guys. Engineering is super situational. Engineering is super utility based. It is, to me, the most fun spec that you can play as a sniper. It's a toss-up between it and marksman. Marksman is really fun. I mean, you get those big numbers, but engineering, every now and then you'll just get this synergy of your EMP discharge and your initial tick of the explosive probe, and you'll be running like towards a node or, you know, kiting someone, and just 30k instantly, you know what I mean, with a stun, and they're just gone, they just disappear. So that is the power. But your initial opener is pretty simple. Actually, it's not simple at all, so hopefully I get it right, okay? Your initial opener: toxic dart, interrogation probe, plasma probe, drop into cover, explosive probe, series of shots, instant cast snipe. I like to instant cast snipe again. Pop out of cover, use my 3 charges of calculated pursuit, corrosive dart, interrogation probe, plasma probe, explosive probe, EMP discharge, series of shots, instant cast snipe, fragmentation grenade, calculated pursuit, 4 charges. And now the priority system is pretty simple. You guys want to be keeping your 2 dots up always. Want to try and keep your plasma probe on the target, EMP discharging with your critical on your explosive probe, and that's pretty much it. Engineering is currently the highest parsing spec in the game PvE wise, which, you know, there's not a huge difference. I mean, obviously opponents don't have, you know, 20 million health like a boss does, so you can't really get the consistent damage numbers, but your opener should be the same, and it's the highest parsing opener in the game if you can hit it all. So that's where the flip side, or the pros and cons, right, of engineering come into play. I mean, you weigh out the fact that, say for instance, I'm right here, this is the door on SWTOR. Well, I can drop that there and completely go hide somewhere else, and this right here, no one can cap this door. As long as I'm alive, no one can cap this door, okay? No one can cap mid node. No one can cap grass. No one can cap snow. Alright? Hugely, hugely useful. The utility that you have is beyond. Is just makes everything worth it. Look how fast you cast that orbital. You can cast that on a door. You can cast that, you know, on a node, delaying caps. This is like, when you're playing engineering, you want to be thinking smart. So I'll put up a couple of gameplays after we get this guide up. But situationally, if all things go according to plan and you get your entire rotation off on an enemy player, they will die. Like, no matter what, they will die. Now, flips between engineering and marksman. Marksman is more guaranteed. More things have to line up in engineering for you to maximize your damage. Less things have to line up for you to maximize and be super effective as marksman. Obviously, your ambush is a singular ability. That said, if your singular ability is dodged, you're fucked. Whereas in engineering, you've got 2 dots going out, you've got all kinds of damage, AoE damage, you got your plasma probe hitting a million things at once, you know, if you're placing it correctly. It's useful. I love engineering, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed the guide. Hopefully you guys will pick up engineering. It is a lot of fun to play. I'll go ahead and do a couple of gameplays and throw those up. But let's go through the rotation one more time, and that'll be it for this guide, okay guys? So, black, corrosive dart, followed by interrogation probe, followed by plasma probe, popping both of my buffs, explosive probe, series of shots, EMP discharge, 4 charges of calculated pursuit, fragmentation grenade because it's procced, snipe, cover pulse snipe, reapply your 2 dots, use my second charge of the of your laze target, series of shots, snipe, calculated pursuit. The energy management is pretty good, guys. I mean, if you're doing it properly, you're gonna reapply your dots right now. You can get into cover for the dots; it doesn't really matter. Plasma probe, explosive probe, EMP discharge for the stun, series of shots, snipe, calculated pursuit, 4 charges to re-get your energy back, instant fragmentation grenade, dots again, plasma probe, explosive probe. Could have used my laser target there, but whatever. EMP discharge, fragmentation grenade, instant cast snipe, calculated pursuit, and that's pretty much it. So that's the priority system. You guys want to be prioritizing your explosive probe on cooldown, and you guys want to be your series of shots as well. Okay, guys. So that's going to do it pretty much for this engineering guide. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. As always, I have been Space, and stay tuned for those gameplays as well as the Madness guide that's coming up very, very soon. Hope you guys are having a great day. Signing out.